In late 2024, two prominent political commentators, progressive host Sam Seder and independent journalist Tim Pool, engaged in a highly anticipated debate. This discussion covered topics ranging from abortion rights to media funding, sparking widespread attention and varied reactions. Let's delve into the key moments of this debate, presenting both viewpoints objectively. You might be wondering why this topic matters to me. I used to be a viewer of Tim Pool's content. I have no personal issues with him, but I've followed this ongoing situation closely and felt it was worth exploring in more detail. That's the purpose of this video. This disagreement has largely faded from public attention since the 2024 discussion. What I'm covering here is intended for archival purposes, to document the lead up to that moment and provide context for how it unfolded. Before we go any further, let's introduce Sam Seder and Tim Pool. Starting with Sam Seder. So who is Sam Seder? He's best known as a progressive political commentator and the host of the Majority Report. In my view, he's also a sharp and capable debater. Beyond politics, he has a background in entertainment. He voiced Hugo, the health inspector, on Bob's Burgers. He previously appeared on MSNBC, but now independently runs his own show alongside a team of co-hosts. To be clear, I don't agree with everything Sam Seder says. However, I do find his style to be effective. If you're going to debate him, it's important to come prepared. A good example of this is his appearance on Jubilee. He performed so effectively in that debate that many users on X, formerly known as Twitter, mistook him for a right-winger challenging liberal views. In reality, he's firmly on the left. For anyone interested, I did a live stream covering that debate not too long ago. Just a heads up, the stream was abruptly taken down, likely due to Jubilee's strict copyright enforcement. I also recommend checking out a video by David Pacman that features numerous examples of Sam Seder's debate style. It includes his well-known exchange with Steven Crowder, which I won't be covering in this video. To be fair, the examples are somewhat selective, but still, take them for what they're worth. Now that we've covered who Sam Seder is, let's turn to Tim Pool. Tim first gained attention as an independent journalist during the Occupy Wall Street protests, where he used live streaming to document events in real time. His work was seen as groundbreaking in citizen journalism. Over time, he transitioned into political commentary and podcasting. Today, he's best known as the host of Timcast IRL, a show where he discusses news, culture, and politics, often from a perspective that leans right, though he identifies as a centrist. As someone who identifies as a centrist, I can say that the vast majority of Tim Pool's content leans conservative. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. I used to consider myself conservative as well. I first discovered Tim Pool in November 2020 when he appeared on Ben Shapiro's Sunday Special. After watching that interview, I decided to check out his content for myself, specifically his main channel, Tim Pool. At the time, he was covering topics related to election integrity. I won't get into that here, as it's a highly sensitive subject, but if there's enough interest, I'd consider making a separate video on the 2020 election. Anyhow, the format of his main channel is straightforward. He covers the news solo, without any guests. Not long after that, I was recommended a live stream called Timcast IRL. I can't recall exactly which episode that I saw first, but I began watching it regularly because the guests he featured were genuinely interesting. For those who aren't familiar, Timcast IRL is a long-form political and cultural discussion show hosted by Tim Pool. It features a rotating panel of guests, including journalists, commentators, and public figures, and focuses on current events, media, and broader societal issues. My history with Tim Pool's content goes beyond the scope of this video. However, if that's something you'd like to hear more about, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd be open to making a separate video on it. Now that we've introduced both of them, let's take a look at their first interaction. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to locate the original video of the debate, but it took place sometime in 2018. If anyone watching has the link, feel free to share it in the comments. The debate itself was surprisingly cordial. The most well-known moment from that exchange is what many refer to as the Thanos moment. They were discussing universal health care, with Tim Pool arguing against it. He cited a philosophical framework, to which Sam Seder responded that he didn't care. Tim misheard that as "I don't know," and brought up Thanos as an example. Sam continued to clarify that he simply didn't care. That exchange is widely considered the origin point of their ongoing tension. The real tension began during the height of the pandemic, before vaccines were widely available. Around that time, Sam Seder declined to appear on Tim Pool's show. His reasoning, as he explained, was primarily due to health concerns. He was being cautious about in-person appearances, especially with people who weren't taking the virus seriously. If you're interested in hearing more from Sam's perspective, I've linked a video where he explains his reasoning in more detail. It is important to note that Sam was open to doing a virtual interview, but Tim Pool has a policy of only hosting guests in person. From Tim Pool's point of view, Sam Seder backed out of the appearance because he was unwilling to engage in person. Tim has suggested that Sam may have been avoiding a direct confrontation and used COVID concerns as a reason to decline. This interpretation has been a point of tension between them ever since. But as the saying goes, hindsight is 20/20. In 2024, they finally met in person, and it became clear that Sam had genuine concerns about COVID, reinforcing that his earlier hesitation wasn't just an excuse. It's also worth noting that before having Sam on, Tim Pool had previously hosted Matt Binder and Emma Vigeland. Sorry for butchering your name if you are watching this, both of whom are regular contributors to the Majority Report. I won't go into the details of those appearances, as they fall outside the scope of this video. However, there was an amusing moment leading up to Emma's appearance. Around that time, Tim had been exploring music and sharing some of his tracks publicly. Emma offered a critique of his music on her show, which caught Tim's attention and briefly sparked a bit of back and forth online. While not central to their political disagreements, it added another layer to the dynamic between them. It's also worth mentioning that the Majority Report has produced, and continues to produce, a number of response videos to Tim Pool's content. In some cases, they offer sharp critiques, where, in my opinion, Tim comes across as unhinged. In others, they seem to misrepresent his points. So, take that for what it's worth. Now, let's turn to the main debate that took place in 2024. It happened on November 1st as part of the Culture War podcast, hosted by Tim Pool on his main channel. One detail I have failed to mention earlier is that Culture War is a relatively new live show he hosts in the mornings, featuring a variety of guests. From what I've seen, the format isn't all that different from Timcast IRL. I won't be playing any clips from the debate, since YouTube tends to be strict about copyright, and to be honest, I'd rather avoid any issues. That said, here's a rundown of the most notable moments from start to finish. If you've made it this far and you're enjoying the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. It really helps with the algorithm. And if you'd like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. I genuinely enjoy diving into these kinds of topics and sharing them with you. I'm also working on my game, Bubble Tank Frenzy, and I live stream the development on weekends. If you're interested, feel free to join my Discord for updates or check out the demo through the itch.io link. The debate began with a discussion on abortion, specifically in cases of rape. Tim Pool argued against abortion, citing philosophical principles. Sam Seder challenged this stance, emphasizing the rights of the victim. A notable moment occurred when Pool brought up a philosophical analogy, referencing Thanos from a Marvel universe. Seder responded dismissively, saying, "I don't care," leading to a misunderstanding where Pool thought he said, "I don't know." This exchange highlighted their differing approaches to the topic. The conversation shifted to media funding and affiliations. Seder questioned Pool about his financial backers and potential affiliations. Pool defended his independence and questioned the motivations behind Seder's inquiries. This segment underscored the importance of transparency in media. At one point in the debate, Sam Seder brought up Tenet Media, a topic that has generated a lot of speculation and online discussion. The details surrounding Tenet Media, its operations, and its possible affiliations are complex and still somewhat unclear. While it played a role in the exchange between Sam and Tim, exploring that ordeal in depth is beyond the scope of this video. However, it's worth noting as part of the broader context behind their tension. Throughout the debate, both Seder and Pool accused each other of bad faith arguments. Seder pressed for direct answers, while Pool challenged the framing of questions. These dynamics led to moments of tension and mutual frustration, reflecting the broader challenges in political discourse. The debate garnered significant attention across social media platforms and political commentary circles. Reactions were sharply divided. Many viewers praised Sam Seder for his direct, no-nonsense style of questioning and his willingness to challenge Poole on policy specifics. Others, however, felt that Tim Poole maintained a level-headed composure and did well to defend his views under pressure. Clips from the debate circulated widely on platforms like X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Reddit and YouTube, fueling further debate among users. In typical internet fashion, some even joked that the debate itself was another sign of the upcoming civil war, a meme that's often associated with Tim Poole due to his frequent warnings about rising political instability. While some commentators saw the exchange as a rare example of civil discourse between ideological opposites, others viewed it as further proof of how deeply entrenched and polarized American political culture has become. Several media outlets covered the event, framing it as a reflection of the broader tensions shaping political dialogue today, where even basic policy discussions can quickly become flashpoints for division. The debate between Sam Seder and Tim Poole serves as a microcosm of the broader political climate we find ourselves in today. It highlights just how difficult it can be for individuals with opposing worldviews to engage in meaningful, productive conversation, even when both parties claim to support open dialogue. The clash between Seder's progressive critiques and Poole's more right-leaning skepticism revealed not only their personal disagreements, but also the deeper ideological divides shaping American society. In a media landscape where echo chambers are increasingly common, moments like this debate are valuable, not necessarily because they result in agreement, but because they expose the underlying assumptions and values that drive each side. By examining these kinds of discussions objectively, without picking a team, we gain insight into the rhetorical strategies, emotional responses, and philosophical frameworks that inform modern political discourse. And perhaps more importantly, we're reminded of just how much work still needs to be done if we hope to bridge these divides and move toward greater understanding, which is exactly why I decided to make this video in the first place. My goal is to extract meaningful points from both sides that too often end up talking past each other, and present what I like to call the purple pill. In today's discourse, nuance is undervalued, but purple is what you get when you mix red and blue. Sometimes the blue is stronger. Sometimes the red dominates. But in the end, I want to help even things out and make space for a more balanced perspective. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate it. If you found it interesting, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons. It helps more than you think with the algorithm. If you disagreed with anything I said or want to share your own thoughts, feel free to leave a comment. And if there's a topic you'd like me to dive deeper into, let me know that as well. Also, be sure to check out my game, Bubble Tank Frenzy. The demo is live on itch.io, and you can join the Discord for updates and behind-the-scenes dev streams. I just created a Bluesky account too, so feel free to follow me there for more content. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.